Alright everybody, hello and welcome to the first cast of Alchemy League Season 7. The format hasn't changed much. I only really ever changed the format if there's a particular obvious theme to have the format fit to. For example, with Alaska, you might do like an Alaska background or something like that. But in this case, it's all just alchemy stuff. We didn't have the open map contest. Excuse me. But we did have something that was a little bit hard to fit an exact theme to. The maps don't have a centralized theme. In fact, they have very little in common except for the fact that they are classics. They are remakes of classics, I should say. The Ensemble Studios maps. We have remade 8 of them, and you are going to see them in Alchemy League, or at least some of them, today. Hopefully you'll see all of them. If you throughout all the casts that we do, hopefully we cover every single map that was made for this season of the League. What are the maps? Well, actually, that's a really good question. We can bring that up. I actually have the players up right now, but now that I'm talking about what the maps are, this is the first cast of the season. I know that people just kind of, maybe they don't necessarily watch this video, or maybe maybe I don't have to go over this every single time, but I'm going to go over it now, because it is the first video of the season, and so if you're here, thank you for being here. Cookie Pirate, welcome. Yeah, we're just gonna. I'm actually gonna show the maps here. So we're kind of working on a website. It is still under development. So we got to talk to some guys. We got some stuff hanging off the side here. But we've set up this website with all these nice clickable links. This is Alchemy League Season 7, so if you come over here from the Alchemy AoE Community homepage, and you can come down here and click on Alchemy League Season 7, and then it brings you over to this page, and then we can go back to the homepage by clicking on the home. So it's pretty cool, but I have to spend some more time working on it. But what I wanted to show you is that the maps that we're using in the league are here. So this top icon is the handbook. You can see that these solved mazes are the different methods. So this is generally a method is like how the tournament host is going to do something. It's not necessarily related to an interchangeable resource. But this PSRM here with this guy pointing across and the pyramids, this is really, if you click on this, this is the plan. So we have to not double click. So this is the procurement spec that lists all the different maps that we've got. So I can read them off to you. We've got reworked canals, graveyards, moats, Paradise Island, Prairie, Seasons, Sherwood Forest. This one we designed up, but it didn't get made. And then Shipwreck and Teeb Glacier. So we usually plan an extra map in case one of them does not get made. So we can, if we really wanted to, and I would encourage you to, if you're curious about how these maps are structured, you could click on one of these, like this is CSRM ESR-3. So we click on that, and it's moats here, and it basically describes everything that you need to know about how the map is set up. If you were a player, it's not going to necessarily show you a ton of great pictures. This one's actually unusual, and it does happen to have some extra pictures in there. But for the most part, this just tells you what you need to know as a player, like where the buildable terrain is, where the water terrain is, all that good stuff. Let's see if we can find another example. So another example could be Shipwreck here. So it'll kind of show you that there's a ring. It'll show you that you can like, let's see, the island here, the ocean. Narrowable, walkable shallows. So it'll tell you that you can walk across the shallows. So I think these are really good references for the players, just because we wanted people to be a little bit creative with these maps, as long as they still fit the overall look and feel of the original. Maybe give it a unique twist. And different people had different ideas about how to do that. We have a pretty broad supply base. Another reason that these could be valuable, these component specs for the maps are valuable, is because they'll tell you stuff like about probabilities. So for instance, Seasons is a map which is famous because this river may be dried up, it may be entirely crossable, it may be dockable, it may not be dockable at all if it's frozen over. So it's really kind of our mega random, if you can look at it that way for this season. But the good news is our component spec it'll tell you, right? It'll say these have approximately equal probability, and these are the implications for play. It's undockable and land units can cross, etc. So it's a really good reference for the players, and we've worked hard with the website to make this a lot more accessible, so you don't have to go into and like type out the name of this thing. You can just click and follow the links, so it's much simpler. So anyway, we got a lot of really cool reworked Ensemble Studios maps, and I'm looking forward to showing 4 different maps today in the cast. And I guess now is a good time to introduce you to the players. We had a decent turn up this season. It's the summer season. A lot of people have vacations and stuff, and they can't commit to the aggressive schedule of the league. But I think we still got a pretty good sign up nevertheless. The first set that we're going to do is going to be Plotter Ghost versus Chipmunk. So we're talking about basically mid 1500 for Plotter Ghost, and it looks like Chipmunk here is upper 1300. So Chipmunk is the underdog, but Alchemy League is special. It's got all kinds of custom maps, so you never know what can happen. We try to design our maps so that there's plenty of opportunity for comebacks and upsets, and can still be competitive despite this ELO window. Cookie Pirate asking who took his cookies. I don't know, you just got here, man. So whoever they are, they're either really good or your cookies are very sneaky. In the second set, we will see Hyder versus Raven. Hyder upper 1700s, and Raven lower 1700s. I want to add that Hyder, Raven, and Plotter Ghost are all veterans of this league. So these guys are really good at this. They have Hyder especially. Like Hyder has played in pretty much every single season that we've done. Plotter Ghost has played in basically every season except seasons 2 and 3, I think. And then Raven took a break after season 4. Took a break for seasons 5 and 6, but he's back, and he was pretty good at it when he was doing it. But so a lot of these guys are very experienced with the league, and these are tough guys. If you are playing in the league and you're watching right now and you're set to play against these guys, make sure you watch this recording carefully, because these guys are serious competitors, and you can take advantage of this opportunity to learn about them. Chipmunk also seems to be pretty good at this, but he only played during the first sprint of last season. During the second sprint, he was too busy, so he had to withdraw on good terms. So Chipmunk is here to create some upsets and to break in a reputation of fear among his competitors. So Plotter Ghost versus Chipmunk, which is the first set, we don't have a map draft for that. And the reason that we don't have a map draft for that is because this is the round wild. So we just have a Civ draft, so that's the only thing I'm going to talk about. The admin randomly bans 5 civilizations at the start, and then they each globally ban 2 civilizations, and then they pick 2, and then snipe 1 from each other, and then pick 2 more. And that leaves each player with 3 possible Civ choices for this play all to set. Plotter Ghost with the option of the Malians, the Cumans, and the Burgundians, and Chipmunk with the option of the Dravidians, Italians, and Lithuanians. It's actually kind of interesting because I think that this Civ draft is performed. At least I hope it's performed. I don't know. I only wrote the handbook. What do I know? But I think that the Civ draft is actually performed without knowledge of what the maps are. So the Civ draft for Round Wild is generally a lot more conservative. People pick a lot more civilizations that are well-rounded and safe, because they don't know what the maps are going to be. They don't know what they're going to need to do. Alright, so let us dive into Game 1, which is on Paradise Island. So we're going to load the replay, and we'll get talking, and we'll get narrating. Hey, Sandy42, long time no siege. Welcome. I'm really glad that you could make it today. Yeah, Raven is back, Cookie Pirate. He is back. Yes, yeah, Hyder still has nightmares about that set. You can ask him. It's really great to see you, Sandy. I know that you are not a YouTube regular. You're more of a Twitch regular. So we really appreciate you jumping to this other platform here for the cast. Alright, so we got Chipmunk playing as the Cyan Lithuanians, and we have Plotter Ghost playing as the Red Burgundians on Paradise Island. So Paradise Island, what is it? Well, it's kind of like regular Paradise Island, except we fixed a bunch of things. We made this central island here. This is undockable. Neither player can come out here and dock this. They can't dock the inside of this either. Let's just get the complex stuff out of the way with. Plotter Ghost already loading a villager up in this transport ship. I'm not exactly sure what that is about. Uh-oh. Is Plotter Ghost planning a lame of Chipmunk's boar? What is this? Now there's some jaguars on this island guarding the relics, so you don't really want to necessarily come over here too early. And already we got some action. Oh, Plotter Ghost laming the deer. Oh my goodness. Well, it is Alchemy League. And so he comes over here and he shoots a deer. And now what's he going to do? Chipmunk hasn't... Okay, Chipmunk... Okay, and he's going to come over here and he's going to wall his villager in. Oh boy, that's very annoying if you're Chipmunk. Sandy saying, I've become a no social media regular. Yeah, you know, it can be tough to find time for this sort of thing. People have been pretty busy lately. So Chipmunk not really sure what to do. Plotter Ghost is still attacking the boar. I guess Chipmunk is going to have to... Wait, what? No, Chipmunk, don't kill the boar. Alright, so the boar is down and Plotter has started harvesting it. Now he's going to delete the walls and he's going to run away. Well, that's going to be pretty annoying for Chipmunk to deal with. I mean, Chipmunk is here with his scout and he's trying to punish Plotter, but the transport ship is close enough that Plotter can hop back in it and head home. So Was this worth it? I mean, who knows? Maybe if we had Capture Age, we would know. Oh, you guys, for goodness sakes, you guys don't want to watch me yapping the whole time. Let's zoom in on the game. All right, so was that really worth it? Who knows, right? If we had Capture Age, we could look at Plotter Ghost's Town Center idle time and make the determination. I mean, I guess we could probably hit some fancy buttons here. Let's see. Let's see if we can get it to display something useful. I guess that's probably the most useful thing that it can display. And then we'll hit the ribbons here. And yeah, that's probably good. So Plotter Ghost is a villager behind. So maybe that was not worth it. I mean, Chipmunk is pretty annoyed because now he has to come over here and harvest the boar far away from his town center. But was it worth being half a villager behind? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so what else about this map? There is fish, alright, but like the traditional Paradise Island, there are jaguars, and they are guarding the fish. So you can't come out here and take the fish very early unless you're like super careful with your scout. But Plotter really elected to be annoying with his villager and scout instead. And it looks like we have some deleted outposts out here and a rotting Chipmunkian villager. So it looks like Chipmunk, yeah, and Chipmunk's one villager down. So it looks like he came out here to try and dock, but the tigers ate him. So, oh, now they spotted this villager, and Chipmunk's just having a rough time. He's going to try to wall in this villager. He's gotten loom now. Then the tigers can't seem to get it. Okay, all right. So he is going to be able to dock, but it did cost him a villager earlier. Oh, thanks, Sandy. Yeah, they're a great community. Sandy has an 8-month-old. Oh, so much for free time. Yeah. Okay, so Chipmunk, he's going to get this dock up, and I think, yeah, he's got a little bit of shorefish to take for now. It'll be kind of tricky getting the villager out of here. Maybe he'll have to create a fire ship or a demolition ship or something like that. But he's currently afraid of the villagers. So anyway, there's not a lot of fish, and there's lots of tigers guarding the fish. So you generally don't want to fish very early, and if you do, you can get punished. Chipmunk lost a villager getting this dock up, but now he has a dock, so you know, maybe it's worth it for him. There is one other thing that I wanted to describe, besides to just say that the resources on Paradise Island are somewhat scarce. There's not a lot of resources going on, so games will probably end pretty quickly on this map. I mean, you got relics in the middle. These relics become even more attractive because you can't get much gold anywhere else. But what I wanted to add is this. Hey, Raven, welcome. Tigers are pretty aggressive. Yes, they are. Yeah, I don't understand the first line. Maybe that's the original Armenian text for tigers are pretty aggressive. Okay, so these transport ships are unkillable. These transport ships deploy the same rule set as the transport ships from Alchemy League Season 5's Neptune map. So you guys remember that map called Neptune? Some of you may remember. In Alchemy League Season 5, it was essentially entirely a mangrove shallow map with some deep water in the center. And players started with a transport ship and there was no beach terrain. So that means that nobody could build docks. But you had this transport ship that you could use to cut across the center of Neptune. And I think it mostly worked. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, Chipmunk's seeing that before Plotter Ghost did, which is good for him. So we saw all kinds of strategies where players would be super annoying. They'd load a bunch of crossbows up in the transport ship and they'd go wherever they want and then unload on a wood line. It was pretty brutal. That map was a real bruiser to cast. So these transport ships have the same rule set, except they can't leave this donut right here. And that's a good thing. And they need that because, you know, if somebody builds a castle here or something like that, and transport ship gets destroyed, it will automatically respawn. Now, anything that was in it will die. But you need to be able to get it back. You need to be able to get it back because you can never be permanently shut out of the relics in the middle. Consider that, you know, it's just too strong. Okay, so Chipmunk has built a stable, a very sensible approach for somebody playing Lithuanians. And he's got a couple of fishing ships here. Plotter has still not docked. So this tells me that Plotter is planning some very aggressive plays. Looks like he's making a scout right now. He could be making another scout. Okay, here we go. So he's busy chasing down Chipmunk's scout so Chipmunk can't spy on him. What's Plotter's? Plotter's got to have pretty good knowledge of... Actually, he doesn't. Plotter really does not know much about Chipmunk's base, actually. He should probably learn, although he's not going to learn very much with the spearmen chasing him. But he's got... Yeah, he just came over here and he did some laming and then he went home, so he really doesn't know where Chipmunk's lumber camp is or anything like that. Let's see what Chipmunk knows. I always like to see what the players know, because it can kind of dip you into their frame of mind, into their thinking. Okay, so Chipmunk did find Plotterghost's lumber camp. He doesn't know where Plotterghost is taking gold, but he found some farms, and actually, I don't think Plotterghost is taking gold, so therefore Chipmunk is not missing any information. Both players going scouts, almost in sort of a mirror build. Lithuanians and Burgundians each having their own different economy bonuses. Chipmunk would love to get in here on Plotterghost's woodline, but there's all kinds of spearmen and other scouts in the way, so he can't really push on. One of the things that we added about this map was a stone road. So there is a road between towns. It doesn't... there's probably not much opportunity to explore. It's not like it's... like you're kind of gonna guess, and players are close together, but it's fun, right? It's fun to have this little road between bases. It shows maybe tells a little bit of history. Maybe they used to be friendly towns, and that's why they had a road connecting them, so they could trade with each other. And then there was a misunderstanding or a disagreement, and they stopped trading. They went to war instead, and now the road is used by scouts to get over and guide them to the enemy town faster. I've always thought that Age of Empires, I know this would really just fundamentally change the game, but one of the fun features... Oh, Chipmunk coming in here to take a fight. He doesn't appear to have any upgrades, neither does Plotter. Maybe Chipmunk was like, oh, I'll get the hill advantage, I'll kill a couple scouts. It looks like they traded. They both lost one scout. But I was going to say, wouldn't it be cool if roads actually did something in Age of Empires? Like, wouldn't it be cool if... And I know that the devs can't even handle pathing when all of the tiles have the same cost. But could you imagine if roads were just a little bit less expensive than other terrain types, and units got like a 5 or a 10% speed boost when walking on a road? Kind of like real life roads that are easier to walk on. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Yeah, exactly, like the move speed. Maybe units move a little bit faster when they're on a road. Maybe it's 5% for regular units, and maybe it's like 10 or 15% for units with wheels, like siege weapons and trade carts and such. Wouldn't that be really, really awesome? I mean, it would make a lot of sense to me. And you could even make it so that roads could be like buildable. Like you could put them down like they were farms or something like that. I know it would totally change the game, but to me it makes a lot of sense, and it would add diversity to the game. But don't worry, guys. The devs have game diversity completely figured out. All they got to do is just add 3 new Chinese civilizations from the wrong time period, and pat themselves on the back and say, "Oh yeah, we're definitely trying hard to innovate this game." Hey, Hyder, welcome. Did you miss anything big? Well, Plotterghost came over here and lamed Chipmunk's boar. He killed the boar in an annoying position, so Chipmunk had to go out and gather it like 8 tiles away from his town center instead of underneath his town center. Other than that, not particularly. So Chipmunk looking for some damage, but Plotterghost with the small walls here. Maybe Chipmunk can work his way up and get at this wood line here. His attention is turned toward... Oh, this is interesting. You know what Chipmunk should do? He should lead these spearmen on a wild goose chase. No, Chipmunk. He should lead the spearmen through all of these jaguars. Think about it. Think about it. He runs past the jaguars. The jaguars go after the spearmen. I don't actually know why these jaguars... Oh, they're tigers. Well, whatever. Why didn't that tiger go after these spearmen? Does anybody know? Did they, like, change it so you can't wolf rush anymore? The tigers at the shore distract me. Oh, yes. Those tigers, they're terrible. It's part of the map, though. The tigers are literally in the specification. If you read the specification, it will warn you about these tigers, or you can just look at the map in advance. Plotter has fish. No Navy from either player. That's true, Hyder. They have not really gone Navy at all. I don't know where Chipmunk's Navy actually is. Oh, okay, here it is. Wait, what? How did these... Does anybody... I must have missed it. I have no idea how these fishing ships ended up over here. Maybe Chipmunk was, like, fighting tigers, and he misclicked the fishing ships, so they all went up here or something. I don't really know. It just... You know, this is not on my bingo card, the concept of Chipmunk building 3 fishing ships and sending them to the opposite corner of the map. Alright, so we have Castle Age from Chipmunk. And it looks like he's building a town center on this gold. This will help him secure his gold. And not a lot of resources. That's his only gold. For Plotter, I mean, his gold is here. So if Chipmunk can, like, get here and deny this gold, Plotter's going to be in a lot of trouble. Plotter's got to hurry up to Feudal Age, or to Castle Age as well. The good news is he's going to be there as soon as I finish this sentence. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so, well, no window of opportunity there for technology advantage. Oh, what is this? What is this? Okay, so Plotter deciding... Chipmunk, seeing that Plotter has sent some scouts over to the Paradise Island, and he's like, alright, well, you can move scouts to Paradise Island, I can move spearmen to Paradise Island. And for some reason now the Predators are joining the fight. They didn't see any fish close to the dock, but Chipmunk scouted the water on the other side of the map with his cavalry, so they all went there. Oh, alright. That makes sense. Alright, so Plotter Ghost deciding he doesn't want to fight these knights. Doesn't want to be holed up on this island like fish in a barrel. We'd see Plotter Ghost, he's thinking about getting relics, right? He's built the monastery. He definitely wants the relics. And I don't even think Chipmunk hasn't built a monastery yet, although he's just building one now. Chipmunk's primary concern was getting Plotter Ghost away from these relics. Lithuanians get a nice relic bonus. I don't think Burgundians really have much in the way of monastery bonuses, although they have a pretty open monastery. But there's a lot of transport micro, these guys going back and forth trying to avoid bad fights. I guess it's one of the fun things about the island, is it sort of forces you. So what Chipmunk should do is he should, like, be following this transport ship, and he should attack the monk as soon as it hops out of the transport ship, so it doesn't have time to convert the knights. But Plotter Ghost just snagging that one relic. He does not want the Lithuanians to get all of these relics. And he also wants the gold for himself. The tigers got the spearmen. Actually, these are jaguars. There's 2 different kinds of predators for whatever reason on this map. There's 2 people that worked on this map. I worked on this map extensively to, like, set up the structure of it, you know, get the island going, get the ocean going, get this area undockable, get the, you know, the overall shape of it. This is actually not easy to do, and this water here is actually a higher elevation than this water down here. And this water is, of course, not allowed to have any resources. You know, but now that it's undockable, maybe it would have been okay to have a few shorefish on it. I don't know. But so far, Plotter's well on his way to getting every single relic here. Chipmunk has transported some reinforcements, and he's targeted these knights with his monk, and the knights are fleeing, and this monk grabs a relic. Okay, these monks are trying to convert the knights, and they do get a conversion here, but Chipmunk has snagged 1 relic at least, so his opponent is not going to be getting a relic victory anytime soon. But yeah, it was kind of weird because the jaguars got the spearmen, but these tigers didn't seem to be interested in spearmen earlier, which does not really make sense to me. Maybe it was some weird bug where tigers just don't attack spearmen. That doesn't really make any sense at all. So Plotter has really invested a lot in the monastery. He's got 4 monks now. And, oh, Chipmunk has to get out of there. Does not want to lose his transport ship. I believe that this transport ship, yeah, it regenerates. It's a very slow regeneration process. And I think if this transport ship goes down when this monk with a relic is inside of it, then the relic is not lost, but it's just dropped on the closest shore. So, it could be kind of annoying, but Looks like out of all that, Chipmunk only got 1 relic, and Plotterghost has gotten the rest. So let's change to Plotterghost's point of view so we can see how many relics he has. So Plotterghost has 6 relics, and he's going to drop off a 7th, I believe. I think the final relic is hiding behind the transport ship. Maybe not. It was just 6. Alright, and Chipmunk with 1 relic. Alright, let's look at villager count. Plotterghost has also done a better job of booming than Chipmunk. He has 81 villagers to Chipmunk's 67. So what happens now? I think what happens now, if you're Chipmunk, is you know that your opponent got most of the relics. So you need to... What I would do if I were Chipmunk is I would be all over this stone here. I'd be all over this stone, and I would want to drop a castle. And actually what you could do, and your opponent even wouldn't necessarily see it, right? Yeah, Plotterghost just has this kind of vision. I guess he did build an outpost here. But what you could do is you could load up your transport ship with 10 villagers or 20 villagers. Actually, you could... I think this transport ship has an infinite number of... Yeah. Load up the transport ship with every villager in your economy. Drop them off here. Move an empty transport ship around and just kind of sit here. So your opponent sees the empty transport ship. They're like, oh yeah, alright, whatever. It's not a big deal. And then move the transport ship to just within this shadow area. Load it up with the 50 villagers. Unload it here. Drop a castle foundation right here. And build your castle on top of your opponent's monastery. This is the Castle Age. In the Castle Age, it is difficult to take castles down. Now, Chipmunk is doing a raid on Plotter, and I guess that'll probably help him. He seems to have more military than Plotterghost does right now. So this is actually a good raid for Chipmunk. But I think a castle drop on this monastery makes a lot of sense. Lilo Lilosa, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I think I've seen you on Hyder's stream before. I'm pleased that you're interested in Alchemy League content. Alright, so Plotterghost is adding some stables. I guess he plans to get caught up. Oh, and he's on his way up to the Imperial Age now. He has researched Cavalier, so he's going to have a technology advantage. These knights politely getting out of the way, but this tiger is not going to be so polite. And surely Chipmunk sees that Plotterghost is building these extra stables, and but I guess he's just interested in the raids, right? He didn't really want to shut down the stables. He's just going to come in here and kill some villagers, be annoying. He's got lumberjacks to kill. He's got farmers he can kill. Plotter has not reacted to this yet. And a bunch of villagers going down, actually. This is a very successful raid for Chipmunk. And he needs it, too. So, in terms of villager population, like, Chipmunk is almost caught up now. He's only 4 villagers behind because of that raid. So, he's running off. Plotter not really doing much raiding at all. He's more so focused on consolidating his power, but he's almost out of gold here. So, you know, Plotter knows, okay, you know, there's not much more gold to be taken, not many more resources to be had. Oh, look at this. He finds another gold over here. Lucky for him, huh? I'm trying to decide. Plotter's original town center is right here. There is a 3-tile gold right there. I guess you could argue that that gold is biased toward Plotterghost. And we see a GG from Chipmunk. I guess this gold did not really come into the game anyway. But that's something to keep an eye on, would be the resource balance. The map did change hands a lot of times. And was very rushed at the end. I guess there's another 3-tile gold right here, so yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And there's only... With this 3-tile gold here, there's only slight bias toward Plotterghost, and the extra gold did not even cause him to win the game. So I think Chipmunk only had 1 relic at the end. Let's check. Yeah, he had 1 relic, and Plotterghost had 7. So I really think that Chipmunk should have... it's easy for me to say this now, but he did have a good military presence. I really think that if Chipmunk had put his mind to it, he could have gotten a castle up right here. And a castle right here, especially like right here, it would have just completely shut Plotterghost down, because Plotterghost's monastery is here and Plotterghost's gold is here. So Plotter Ghost was very, very vulnerable to a castle drop in this location, but Chipmunk did not punish that. And there's even a stone here, too, so he could have shut down one of Plotter's stones. A castle right here would have been devastating, but Chipmunk didn't build it. He tried to outboom Hyder, and even though he was a little bit behind with the relics, and I think that cost him the game. Nevertheless, though, it was a really fun game. Let's take a look at the achievements real quick. Alright, so Chipmunk with 47 kills and 41 units lost. Plotter Ghost with 34 units killed and 47 units lost. And I think a lot of that are villagers, actually. Plotter having converted 3 units, and largest army of 25 for Plotter Ghost toward the end with a lot of Cavalier. Chipmunk with 19 knights, presumably as his largest army. Yeah, you definitely got to be careful about the castle drop. Plotter with more resources collected, that's no surprise. He had more villagers throughout most of the game. And let's see, Plotter with the faster Imperial Age time, Chipmunk faster to feudal and castle. So this tells me that Plotter got 6 relics, so there must have been 7 total, and I may have miscounted. 1,400 relic gold, villager high of 94, Chipmunk with only 1 relic. Second game is on seasons. So I should add that Paradise Island was made by Magico and myself, and Seasons was made by Biscuits. It was Magico's first map, so I was happy to help him out. All right, so this Biscuits, he kept it classic, which is good. This map, let's talk about this map. This map is kind of our mega random. Why is it our mega random? Well, it's the mega random because of the river. So on traditional seasons, there's kind of there's a river here. There might be some shallows, some fish, etc., but it's basically crossable everywhere. There are different versions, though. You could have deep water here with a single icy crossing. You could have no crossing at all. You could have a winter version where this is entirely frozen over and you can't even dock it. So basically, this river could be doing anything, depending on the season. And this particular season is the summer season. So, it's nice and warm out, but maybe things are a bit dry. And sections of this river are a little bit dried up and shallow, and you can just walk across it. And that's what we see here. Yeah, the temperate Yukon gold rush. Exactly, but without the gold. Well, I guess the gold takes the form of the relics. The relics are always going to be on the river in some way. We see Plotter Ghost playing as the Red Cumans, and he is at 10 o'clock. And then we see Chipmunk playing as the Cyan Italians at 5 o'clock. And it looks like Chipmunk's boars are right next to each other. That's kind of helpful. There's no rule against it or anything like that. I think it just sort of randomly happened that way. I guess these boars are close together as well. Maybe that's an artifact of the original map, and Biscuits just preserved it. Hyder says, I like the RNG variety on this map, like Chandelar Lake we had in the Alaska season. That I really appreciate you saying that, Hyder, but you are in the minority in that viewpoint. Players normally, they like to know what to expect. They like to know that if they pick a certain civilization, that they're going to be able to use the civilization bonuses of their choice. For instance, let's say that somebody picked Italians expecting to take advantage of all the sweet naval bonuses on this map, and then they got the winter biome, or the winter season, and this river were entirely frozen over, and no dock could be built. Well, then you might be a little annoyed, right? Well, I got this naval civilization, and I can't build navy. But that just sort of forces players to be flexible, and that is a good thing. That is what Alchemy League is all about. Japanese on the winter version, and everyone got screwed over. Yeah, the Japanese on Chandelar Lake were pretty good. I really like Japanese in general. I think they are a pretty competent civ. They got a lot of good answers to different things. There's only like a few civs that really just hard counter Japanese, such as Byzantines. But even then, the Japanese have decent eco bonuses and such, so they're a solid civ for sure, especially on a lot of these unpredictable maps with a hybrid flare. Hyder says, on Chandelar, I specifically drafted Celts just for that reason. Yeah, I wish we saw more Celts. I think they're a good civilization too, but they're sort of old school. You know, a lot of Age of Empires is getting at those flashy plays, that that Archer micro in Feudal Age, or some really crazy siege monk push in Castle Age. And the Celts really don't shine there. The Celts shine in post-imperial when you've got fast infantry and tanky siege weapons flooding the map. Maybe we'll see him more this league, though. So it looks like Chipmunk, having discovered the river, he's come forward and he's built a dock. You generally always want a dock. I hate docking, but you just do it. It's free villagers. Plotter has not docked, though. He's the Cumans, and he's on his way up to the Feudal Age. So Plotter's looking at this differently. He's like, I'm not gonna waste time with a dock. It's just gonna take extra wood that I don't want to spend. And Plotter just leaving these sheep out here too, which is kind of strange. I guess he's been pushing his deer in, so it makes sense. But yeah, Plotter is going up to the Feudal Age quickly. He's going up on 19 villagers or 20 pop total, and he's probably gonna plop a town center down right here or something. A town center here would secure some stone, secure some wood. He could build it back here, but this is like the back of his base. It's harder for his opponent to get to. So if I were him, I would build the town center right here. But we'll see what happens. He might build it really far forward. He might build it like right here or something, and then use it to provide cover arrow fire for getting some docks on the water later. Hyder says, if you pick Italians on a map like this, you're basically gambling. You can't complain if you don't get the generation you were wishing for. I really think that Italians are actually a very good civilization, even when water is not on the map. Similar to Vikings. Dang it. He is going for the gold. He's going for the gold, guys. The safer town center pick. I guess he doesn't need stone to get up to the next age. Just because they have water bonuses doesn't mean that they can't do well elsewhere. Now, actually, I actually don't like Vikings. I think they're like the Franks of infantry. I think they get completely crushed by civilizations that specialize against infantry. Hyder says, we had an Italian tournament in April. I think Celts were drafted in about 80% of the sets. It made me happy. Hyder chipping in, he says, yeah, Italians are strong, especially now that they get extra armor on the archers, and especially since they have Hyder playing for them. Alright, so Plotter Ghost is going to do the whole two-town center human boom thing. He's got extra health on his palisade walls. This will help keep Chipmunk out a little bit longer, whereas Chipmunk is doing a town center and a dock boom instead. And Chipmunk, I think, does Plotter know about the dock? No, he does not. So Plotter's checking out the river now, and maybe he's looking for a dock location of his own. That seems to be the case. I mean, if he were looking for Chipmunk's dock, he would be looking on the other side of the river. Let's see what Chipmunk knows. Chipmunk has done a better job of exploring, I found, so far in this set. Yeah, so Chipmunk has actually come over here and he's tried to figure out what his opponent is doing. He notes that Plotter Ghost has a town center on the gold. He's got his starting town center here. Chipmunk is going to know that nobody would start with a town center like this, right up against gold and against the forest, so he knows his opponent built back here. So Chipmunk has built kind of the small walls. He has not put as much effort into walling as Plotter Ghost has. Remember that Plotter has not really scouted out what Chipmunk is doing. This is kind of a greedier build here. So because Plotter doesn't know what Chipmunk is up to, he's walling like this. He doesn't want archers to suddenly walk through here and ambush his berry pickers or something. He does not want to get unexpectedly ambushed. But I don't think Chipmunk is going for that. I mean, Chipmunk is halfway up to the castle age now. Chipmunk using this as an opportunity to perform a fast castle instead. So Chipmunk deciding not to hit Plotter Ghost in the feudal age, which I actually agree with that decision. I think Chipmunk can do a lot more damage to Plotter Ghost if he goes fast castle here, recognizing that Plotter is doing the 2 town center Cumin Boom. So what would be really awesome, and I don't know if Chipmunk... Oh, look at this. Okay, so Chipmunk does recognize it. So Chipmunk sees that Plotter has no military. Plotter is greedily booming, and Chipmunk is going to build some forward buildings. I was actually just about to suggest that. I like this stable. It's a good choice. I think Chipmunk should make a monastery and a siege workshop. Cumins can really struggle against something like that. Now, does Plotter even know about this gold right here? Let's toggle the Fog of War. He does not. So that means that if Chipmunk can get a mangonel right here and shut down this gold, Plotter is in big trouble. Because Plotter's not going to be able to take this gold. Alright, see, look at this Chipmunk scaring Plotter off with his scout. But it doesn't matter because Plotter managed to scout this anyway. So Plotter knows that an attack is coming. He's going to throw down some more house foundations here. And he's going to try to buy himself some time while he greedily Cumin Booms. So the Cumin Boom has worked well for Plotter. He's got 44 villagers to Chipmunk's 29. You could stonewall your opponent in. Now that is an idea that I did not think about. You certainly... Plotter Ghost cannot stonewall anybody out, because Cumins don't get stonewalls. But Chipmunk should definitely put his foot on the gas here. He needs to build a ranged unit of some kind, maybe a Scorpion. Otherwise, Plotter's just going to keep house walling behind all this. And let's switch over to Chipmunk's perspective and see... Okay, he's got a mangonel, actually. That's pretty much just as good. And Plotter Ghost forcing down a barracks very quickly, and he knows he's going to need to build some spearmen. However, I think that if Chipmunk builds a monastery, he can keep up with the heals, he can keep up with the conversions, because in Feudal Age you do not have a lot of options against a Huang-style push like this. I like how Chipmunk is like attack ground in between these buildings to weaken multiple buildings at the same time. That's pretty smart. And he's got another mangonel here too. Cumin Town Centers don't have any health bonuses, so it's not like Persian TCs, which take forever to take down. And these knights are in, and they are ready to tango. Oh, Plotter quick walling some knights out. Chipmunk's going to roll forward with his mangonels, and Plotter taking a lot of damage here. Chipmunk should definitely attack ground these villagers if he can. Oh, he's actually just going to attack the town center directly. And he's going to use the other mangonel to keep the villagers off. Oh no, Plotter, this is a disaster. Oh yeah, alright. So there's a big hit right there. Villager goes down. He's trying not to hit his own knights. And there are 3 mangonels here. And where is Plotter Ghost in terms of clicking up to Castle Age? Is Plotter Ghost even close? Sort of. He's still making villagers. I think he should cancel his villagers. And just try to get up as quickly as possible. He's making some spearmen, but I don't think the spearmen are going to do it. So these mangonels are working on the town center. Spearmen might try to fight the mangonels, so Chipmunk is going to just take the fight with the spearmen. It's not the best fight, but it'll keep the spearmen off of his mangonels and allow the mangonels to work on the town center. So it looks like there are 3 mangonels working on this town center, and Plotter is in trouble. So Plotter has the resources to click up to the next stage. He should do so from his back town center. But he has not clicked yet. I don't know, maybe it's kind of panic mode. Chipmunk hasn't... I don't think Chipmunk has really done much. He's just got the 2 fishing ships on his dock. He could probably build more fishing ships if he wanted, but Chipmunk is very smartly putting his foot on the gas. And he's recognizing that if he spends that wood on mangonels, he's going to do far more damage to his opponent than if he builds more fishing ship. He's going to destroy the production buildings so his opponent can't make scouts. Plotter shanking the mangonels, so that the knights are going to clear that up. Okay, so Plotter has clicked up to the Castle Age. He has the ability to build another town center now if he even wanted to. I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to just survive. But I think Plotter is very overrun here. He's been taken off of all of his farms in the center. And Chipmunk's sending some villagers forward. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably repair villagers. There was a mangonel that was hurt badly. Or Chipmunk is going to... Okay, Chipmunk's going to build a monastery here so he can heal up his knights. But it's not looking good for Plotter. We'll never know. I don't think we'll ever know what Plotter really had planned. Alright, the villagers are charging the mangonels now. Let's take a look at the villager count. Plotter Ghost actually is only 4 villagers behind Chipmunk, despite all of the battles and stuff. But the villagers are dropping rapidly. The monastery goes up, and Castle Age is still on its way. Can Chipmunk destroy this monastery before Castle Age? That is the question. I think Plotter is going to get Castle Age, but he's taken so much damage. He's getting Castle Age just now. What does he do with it? If I were him, I would delete this farm and build a siege workshop, or I would delete these 2 houses and build a siege workshop. Actually, the houses. Yeah, delete these houses, build a siege workshop right here, and make defensive mangonel. That's probably his best bet in this situation. I don't think Chipmunk realizes how much damage he can do to Plotter by attack grounding this gold instead. So being in Castle Age allows Plotter Ghost to make knights. Okay, Plotter's going to build a market to help himself out with his economy. But the monastery allows Chipmunk to make monks and convert Plotter's knights. So he really needs the defensive siege workshop. And I think that this town center is going to go down, and Plotter will probably call the GG at that point. It's made a camel. Camels get bonus damage against knights. But when you're outnumbered, it'd be really hard to keep up. And Chipmunk just converts it anyway. I don't know what else Plotter's got going for him. It looks like this is his last stand, and Plotter Ghost calls the GG, runs out of wood, can't repair the town center anymore. Plotter really fighting tooth and nail for this one. That was well executed by Chipmunk, recognizing that Plotter was being greedy in Feudal Age and punishing it. Going fast castle to punish. So, Chipmunk, 61 kills, 14 deaths. Buildings raised 9, lost none, conversions 1. Largest army of 12. 12! Exactly. Even if Chipmunk lost all of that military, he'd still be in a fantastic position. So Plotter collecting more food and wood. Chipmunk collecting more stone and gold. So Plotter is first to the Feudal Age. Chipmunk first to the Castle Age. Map explored. So Plotter actually explored more of the map, but Chipmunk explored more of the map around Plotter. Research count, Chipmunk 7 research count. So Plotter Ghost with higher number of villagers, 59, but those villagers didn't help him win in this case. All right, guys, that was a fun set. Plotter Ghost versus Chipmunk, I think. It's always really fun to see what the round wild will bring. We just watched Seasons by Biscuits, and it was a good time. Now we're going to see Hydra versus Raven. Now, they actually played proper round 1 with Map of the Round. And if you don't know what the Map of the Round is, you can always come up here in the upper right-hand corner, and we're going to make all this stuff more attractive. Plotter's been helping me with the website. We got to kind of figure out who's in charge of it. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. And the Map of the Round for round 1 is Graveyards. And Graveyards was made by Jasuki. So, yeah, Plotter and I were working on this. And if you know anything about website development and you want to kind of chip in a little bit of time here and there to make the website pretty, let me know. I think the biggest thing is we got to try to figure out how to scale these different sections and these images by the screen resolution, whatever that is. Alright, So Hyder versus Raven, first map graveyards, and then they took turns discarding maps until only one map remained, and that was Team Glaciers. Hyder says that was some very good pressure from Chipmunk. It was. So Hyder versus Raven, Civilization Draft. 5 random bands at the beginning, Goth, Burmese, Frank, Hindustanis, Magyars, and then 2 global bands from each of them, Spanish, Georgians, Dravidians, and Vikings, and then 2 picks each of 2 with 1 snipe, leaving Hyder with Berbers, Japanese, and Persians. And remember, these guys know what the map of the round is at this point and what the second map is. And Raven picking Byzantines, but it gets sniped by Hyder. Chinese, Mayans, and Portuguese are Raven's remaining options. Alright. Let's hop into the game. See what they got. So, graveyards. What is it? Well, Jasuki made this map. Jasuki he's Colombian, but he's living in Spain right now. Smart guy, actually. Really nice guy. He likes our community. He likes what we're all about. What is it? He's worked diligently to kind of recreate these different plateaus. You know, because most places where I go, if they can, like if you've got a town with a lot of room, they will generally try and put graveyards on the top of a hill. And the reason for that is because of like water seepage and flooding and that sort of thing. I mean, in ye olden days, disease was kind of a lot harder to control than it is now. Water purification options and sanitation were not there. And so if you were going to consecrate somebody's body, you wanted it to be closer to heaven. Number one, that was kind of like the religious explanation for why you have graveyards on a hill. And then sort of the number two, kind of the practical reason for that is because when a dead body leaches pollutants into water, if the water has to travel further to get to a water source, like a lake or something like that, and it's got to travel past all of this other dirt and all of these other trees and all the different grasses and shrubs, it's more likely to be purified, if that makes sense. So there actually is a sanitation reason to have your graveyard on top of a hill. Does that mean that every graveyard ever is built on top of a hill? Well, no. But I think that's the reason why people in the old days did it. That, and there was kind of a religious, closer to God explanation. But anyway, yeah, we got an Asian biome here. Cherry blossoms and pagodas, indeed, with all kinds of tombstones, and there are relics on these hills. They're not on every hill, but they're kind of scattered around. We've got some old monks and stuff like that, kind of looking around, watching the relics over, or just not watching relics over, just sort of being here. I think the map is thickly forested, perhaps more thickly forested than traditional graveyards, and it has this little pond in the middle. Now, as to how practical this pond is, I mean, Hyder seems to think the pond is a big deal. He's coming out here with his villager to build a dock. There's fish in the pond. I think it's worth docking, but it's not going to be a long-term thing. And people, you can still do a lot of damage with land military on this map. So, Hyder's going to be first to dock. He sends a villager, he sends a scout out here. Guys, remember that Alchemy League is standard victory condition, so maybe Hyder decides he wants to go fast castle and pick up all of the relics. That would be an unusual choice. Start the relic countdown, win that way. Let's talk about the civilization matchup. Persians versus Chinese. Well, Persians are a very strong hybrid civilization. They've got more hit points on their town centers. They've got twice the hit points on their docks as well. They're easy to play. They start with extra food and wood. Their town centers and docks work faster. So they have a lot of going for them in terms of economy and as well as brute strength. They get good power units. They're not really so much into the counter units as they are into the power units. As Raven is like really long distancing this deer. It's kind of a that's some commitment here. I mean, Raven must have a special build worked out, or maybe it was lamed or something. I don't know. I didn't see it. But Hyder Hyder saw it and he wants to interfere with it. So that's his choice, I suppose. So we got some oysters here too. I mean, the oysters only have 450 gold on them. The gold mines have 800. So you can always take these oysters with the fishing ships. Alchemy League is played on antiquity mode. We're one of those things where we like, as long as it's not just like stupid or ridiculous, like some new civilization or something like that. But if the devs add in like a new feature, like an antiquity mode feature, where now fish traps can, or fishing ships can do something extra, that's good. We want that because it affects all civilizations, all players. We want to see the impact. Hyder says extra deer is always nice. It is. It's 140 food. It collects very quickly. It's good stuff. I'm just keeping my eye on this pond in the middle because I'm expecting Raven to come over here and dock this, but he hasn't. Raven is building a barracks, and I'm surprised Raven isn't playing as the Armenians. He loves the Armenians. Alright, so he's in the feudal age now. Chinese kind of have a weird build. It's hard to play the Chinese. It's kind of the opposite of Persians, actually. Persians are easy to play because they get those extra resources and faster working town centers and such. Chinese have lower resource counts, but they start with more villagers. So you gotta really micro the initial sheep collection, or in this case water buffalo collection. But this is some kind of Chinese scouts build. It looks like. We can see that Raven is already creating scouts, and Hyder, he's made some fishing ships. He's got 4 safe villagers essentially right here. And what is this? What is Raven? Okay, I think he just is docking. I think that's just what he wants to do. I'm waiting to cast this map and to see Oladushek build like 16 towers around this island. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm just calling it right now. Somebody is going to cast Oladushek playing on this map, and the entire pond in the middle is going to be ringed with towers. Yeah, so far, Raven hasn't really contested this very much. I think that this dock is just to build fire ships. I think this dock is just to force Hyder to not have a free fish boom. I don't think Raven is serious about building fishing ships. Let's check and see. Yeah, there's a fire ship in the production queue. Hyder making scouts as well. So Hyder's got the front of his base walled off, but Raven is already here. And Raven is playing dodge the scout. Does not want to get hit by that pokey boy. Oh, takes a hit. He'll go Kumans and drop an extra TC on the middle pond. Yeah, that sounds about right as well. A little bit of micro. Can Raven kill Hyder's scout? He does. So he's got three scouts. I mean, 2 of them are weak now, and Hyder has been mass producing these spearmen. I mean, look at them all. He made at least 3. Raven not getting any damage in with the Chinese scouts. I think Raven is done here. And what is this? Hyder. Oh, Hyder does not like this villager here. Hyder has made a scout rush of his own, and he's trying to get in on Raven. Raven bringing the fire ship back, and the fire ship burning the scout, which is a funny choice. I think that Hyder should burn this villager. The villager can't really get away with the scouts outside, but Hyder doesn't react to it in time, and now Raven has 2 fire ships. He repairs the other one, and now he can send him back to continue to harass Hyder's fishing ships. So guys, I want to ask your opinion about something. What do you guys think about having a continuous play requirement for Alchemy League? Maybe to require that that somebody plays maybe 4 to 6 games between registrations for the league. Do you guys think that would be fair? It's something that I've been thinking about, because the league's been going on long enough now. It's almost sort of gotten to the point where somebody could actually train off of Alchemy League and never play any ranked games and get significantly better, but that'll never be shown in their ranked match history because they haven't played any. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know. Because we definitely have a very advanced system, but I'd hate for our data to be obsolete for some people, just because Alchemy League is all that they need. I'm flattered. I really am flattered. If somebody doesn't want to play 1v1s except in Alchemy League, because that's to them that's the only place that it's worth it. That's a fantastic compliment. But I just worry that we need a way of tracking the progression of somebody's skill if they play lots in the league but have stopped playing ranked. So let me know what you think. So Raven has done the small walls here. He's buttoned them up nice and tight. Hyder has not gotten in. Raven couldn't get in on Hyder either. I don't know that scouts are really... I get it because they're fast. Oh, no. No kill here. I don't know why Raven doesn't wall this in. It seems like this would be... because he's got enough military over here to keep Hyder at bay. Most tournaments do it, so I don't see why not. Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I haven't been... I don't really read the rule books for other tournaments. I guess I probably should, just to see what those guys have as ideas and what they require. So Cookie Pirate says, I'm not keen on it. Some people don't like ranks and might not be interested in other tournaments, but I can see why others could be more favorable toward it. Well, if there's some other way of accounting for somebody's rise in skill level from training chiefly through the league and not expressing that skill through the ranked ladder, like not reflecting it back to the ranked ladder for us to then scan and then update their skill. Because let's say that you have somebody that starts in the league at 1,000 elo, and they had 500 games before that, but all of their ranked, they kind of stabilized, and they were a solid 1,000 elo player. But let's say that they just really got a ton of benefit out of the league, and they learned a lot, and they never went back. They never went back to ranked. But if they went to play ranked, then they'd be 1,600. My matchmaker, as it is currently configured right now, would be putting them up against 1,000 elo players. They'd win everything. They'd win everything, and they'd be expected not to win anything. And that's my concern. And I don't know how to account for that, except to place a requirement that they continuously play in the ranked ladder. Looks like Raven has actually won the water. Hyder's been keeping Raven on the defensive though in his base, and he did force Raven to go the larger wall route. Now the scouts are chasing each other through the willow forests. Well, in that case, it would be me... it would basically be me scanning previous results from previous leagues and mathematically adding to the calculation some way. There's an unranked ELO for those... I know, but how is the unranked ELO done? Is it done in a 1v1 format, or is it done in, like, team game or anything? Could somebody generate unranked ELO in a 3v5 deathmatch game, for instance? There's just some things to think about. I would love, because if you can come up with a solution that doesn't force other people to do things, that allows people to be free to do what they want, that's always the best solution, right? The best solution is to be able to figure it out for them and say, hey, we scanned your history in the league, and based on your history in the league and based on your ranked history, we're able to get a more accurate calculation of skill for you for next season. That would be a fantastic thing to have. I don't know how to do it. Well, that's what I meant. A minimum number of ranked games between season signups. So, for instance, I could easily program the matchmaker to scan how many games you had when you registered for the previous season, if you played in the previous season, versus how many games you have now. And if you don't have if you don't show an increase in games between the two, then you weren't playing ranked because it didn't find those games. and therefore you're not eligible to register. Hyder saying, unranked ELO, if I'm not mistaken, takes into consideration quick play and lobbies, with the exception of deathmatch, that has its own separate ELO. Yeah, so who knows what lobby settings were going into creating that unranked ELO. It's worth thinking about. Because as the league gets older, right, as we have more and more seasons, we're going to have more and more people that have played a lot in the league, because that's what they like, and that's a good thing. We like that. We like people coming back and playing the majority of their 1v1s in our league. But it does leave us in this little paradox. So, yeah, think about it. Let me know. Raven really does not want this cavalry getting in. He's sent a lot of repair villagers. At this point, you just kind of throw some stone tiles across. But Raven, okay, he's got stone over here. He could buy some stone. Excluding people on the basis of not playing ranked. Well, if we can't be confident that we are able to find worthy opponents for players, if we don't know what their skill level is, we have to exclude them from our league. We have no choice. We don't have a league if we just put anybody up against anybody. Well, then people would say, well, how did you come up with that penalty? You know, it's just sort of arbitrary. Right now, it's all mathematical. Like right now, if somebody doesn't like, in theory, if somebody didn't like their tournament ELO, I could provide them with the documentation for how that was calculated, and they would be able to program all of those same equations in and come up with the same number. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that it's all documented. There's a process for it. It's not me arbitrarily adding 50 points to something because I'm not satisfied that somebody's playing enough 1v1 ranked games in the league. Well, I don't know. I don't know what that number would be, and I don't know how I would determine that number. But I'd be open to suggestions. People have that. I don't know. So Hyder with a big boom back here. He's got 3 town centers. Persian boom. Let's take a look at the villager count. He's got 83 villagers to Raven's 68. Now Raven in turn has been docking. Raven is on 2 town centers. Hyder is on 3. Raven actually has a score lead. Raven has invested more in military than Hyder. And, you know, Raven is one of those guys I've watched that if he has a military advantage and he knows it, or if he has a military advantage, he knows it. If he's got the ability to pick a fight with his opponent, and his opponent doesn't want to fight him, he's like a bloodhound for that kind of thing. You're like, alright, well my opponent doesn't want to fight, and I've got all this military, so I might as well use it. I've seen Raven like charge in late Castle Age when nobody expects an attack, and just massacre things. So here he comes. I think he's just massing up his units now. I don't know if he's going to send some villagers forward. Monk with relic. He's trying to pick up this relic. Hyder's cutting him down. Doesn't want him getting that relic at all. And Hyder coming back here. Once again trying to get in. Raven sending the town to repair the house. And these knights are going to head back and pick a fight. But then once Hyder sees that he's outnumbered, he's going to run away. So he keeps on distracting from the main offensive. And Hyder building a university. So the university means that Hyder is planning on clicking up to the Imperial Age very soon. In fact, I would expect Hyder to buy some food and click up now. Yep. So he just bought the food and now he clicks up. So he's on his way up to the Imperial Age. And I think Raven really needs to push Hyder right now. Raven has a score lead. Hyder has an eco lead. Soon to be a technology lead. I really don't agree with the choice of cavalry on this map. I think there's a lot of forests. They're very difficult to maneuver here. I don't know that cavalry make a lot of sense. I'd rather see somebody do like some kind of infantry and pike push. And Persians would really struggle against that. Like if you're Persians on this map, your opponent has thrown down a couple siege workshops, a couple barracks, they're pushing you with mangonels and pikemen, I think that could be really hard to answer. Hyder going for another raid. He keeps coming back to this sweet spot right here. He loves to camp this hill right here. And these hills are kind of annoying, right? They're all around your town. And I guess he is finally taking a fight here. I don't know if he means to. Maybe he figured, I outnumber him, it's fine. He's almost Imperial Age. This map feels cluttered as the game has progressed, and that can be both a good and a bad thing. Yeah, I think there's not as much space on this map. I think it's sort of part of the design. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen more people building up here next to the pagodas. Raven trying to pick off as many of these knights as he can. He now sees that Hyder is in the Imperial Age. And where is this monk going? Surely Hyder will not allow this. He's going to see this monk, and actually Hyder is built up here. Yeah, cuts that monk down. And Raven, realizing he needs to get up to the Imperial Age as well, and he's going to build a castle. Yes. Are we going to see mass Choku news? That would be a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm really not sure why Raven's score is better than Hyder's score. It could be because of these 3 fishing ships. I mean, fish tend to inflate scores a lot. Raven with a weak monk coming over here to pick up this relic. Trying to sneak that. Let's do a relic count. We're at Hyder's point of view right now. No relics in that monastery. I mean, he's got 2 relics kind of very well defended here. He has a lot of vision over this area. Although Raven keeps coming back trying to get this relic. That's just pretty funny. Maybe he'll succeed. We have to see a big fight here. Chinese castle. Hyder pulling back. This map is absolutely perfect for Choku news and scorpions and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, though, for Raven, the Persians do get bombard cannons. So if Raven goes into Choku news and scorpions, then Hyder can make bombard cannons. And it'll be really hard for Raven to snipe those, I think, because of the forests being so thick. Not a lot of space to maneuver. Building placement is a pain as the game progresses. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Is Raven going to steal this relic finally? Does Hyder even know about it? Yeah, Hyder can see this. Hyder can see this old man walking off with the relic right here. Is he doing anything about it? Nope. Got bigger fish to fry. All he's got to do is send 1 light cav, maybe 2 back here, and put a stop to that. But he hasn't gotten the relics yet. Has not made it his priority. Keeps coming back here to this sweet spot. Loving this corridor here. Getting chased by Raven. So Raven is actually teching into the... This is cool too, because Chinese can do this. He's teching into all of these different technologies. He's going to go into Halb. He's getting the armor for the Halbs. He's getting the armor for his cavalry. And Hyder is actually switching into gunpowder. What in the world is this? He's getting Savar. Savar, it's the new icon. Persians, they don't get paladins anymore. They get Savars. So both these guys are really gearing up for the post-imp crawl. And I think they both have got pretty dangerous post-imp compositions. Where are the Choku Olds? He's not making either, actually. He's not making either. Let's do a relic count for Raven. Now, maybe the reason that Hyder has not prioritized the relics is because Armenians get an extra free relic, and Hyder is an Armenian. No, I'm just kidding. Hyder is the Chinese. The game does not have an ability to detect whether or not your IP address is from Armenia and then give you a free relic. That would just be ridiculous. No, Hyder... Raven has 5 relics now. And Is that all the relics, actually? No, there's one more right here. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe Raven will manage to steal this relic, but I don't think that that's likely. Got a big battle on the hill. Gunpowder and Savar. I mean, that is such a hard unit composition to deal with. Terrible joke of the hour brought to you by Cookie Pirate. Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. Alright, so Hyder deciding he's going to set up camp here. He's going to build a siege workshop, and he's going to push from this angle. Surprise, surprise. Whereas Raven is more so set up in the center. And it looks like Hyder is building a stone wall here. Persians are not known for their defenses, but they at least get stone walls, unlike some civilizations, like the Goths or the Cumans. Persians still get stone walls. And the big thing about stone walls is not the health, but really the armor. The fact that when you hack at them, you don't do very much damage. Alright, so trebuchets from Raven. Raven has a lot of the relics, and Raven is building a castle on this plateau here, which I think is an excellent choice. The castle will secure a lot of his wood in the corner of the map, and it will give him an avenue to push his opponent with. Hyder definitely on the offensive, but Raven is competitive in score. I think Halberdier are definitely the right choice. Savar are very difficult to deal with. They have 8 pierce armor. They practically are tickled by this castle arrow fire. It's like it hardly does anything to them at all. But I'm not seeing very much siege here from Hyder. I think Hyder needs some bombard cannons. And what do his resources look like? Can Hyder afford bombard cannons? Well, not okay. All right, he's sort of making them. So he's making one from there. He's making a couple from there. He's reached the population limit, and that's the reason why. Well, delete some hussars and build some bombard cannons. Bombard cannons will help him flatten this castle. They'll help him flatten halberdiers even. I like a Raven putting these fire ships to work. We got about 30 gunners here, 28 hand cannons, and this is the real pain. We have 2 bombard cannons here for Hyder, under repair right now. Persians do not get siege engineers, so the range of these bombard cannons cannot be improved to 13, and Raven is repairing the castle. So what's Raven's answer to the modern army that Hyder has built? Hyder has gone into, he's a Napoleonic army. I mean, look at this. He's got rows of Minutemen here, and he's got the cannons. What's Raven going to do about that? Alright, so it looks like Raven is going into archers. He's going to get Arbalister. Yeah, Arbalister could really struggle against bombard cannon, but it is a smarter choice than Chokinu, I think, in this case. Chokinu are better against high pierce armor targets. But yeah, against bombard cannons, I'm not sure that he has any good answer. So the castle goes down, and this invites Hyder to push in through the front of Raven's base. Raven he's got a lot of stuff. He has town center here. He's got a lot of forward production buildings. He's spamming light cav. You know what I'd like to see, actually? You know what would make a lot of sense? Would be siege rams from the Chinese. Fire Lancers. I don't know anything about Fire Lancers, but I think they'd be a good choice. Because they have that. Tell us about the Fire Lances. I think that they have like an explosion or something like that they shoot out. I think siege rams, though. Siege rams could come in here. They could ram the bombard cannons. They could tank a lot of the bullets from the hand cannoneers. You could garrison some units in them to attack the hand cannoneers later. But just feeding these light cav to the hand cannons piecemeal, it's not going to work, right? But what might work is Raven coming around to flank these bombard cannons. I guess he decides he needs his arbalesters back over here instead. The Persian Death Ball. Being Chinese basically allows Raven to perform all of these tech switches much more easily than other civilizations. The technologies are cheaper for him. Fire Lancers are basically beefier halbs. Oh, the monastery goes down and Raven loses access to these 6 relics. That hurts. I bet Hyder is happy to see all of these relics here. He probably wants to take them for himself. Or maybe he doesn't care. He hasn't even picked up this relic right next to his base. Bombard cannons get some juicy shots on the arbalesters, but I think Raven is in big trouble. Raven, as Chinese, just cannot deal with this mass gunpowder. Seems like he does not have a good answer to that. Let's switch over to Raven's point of view. Yeah, he's making Arbalister and he's making Light Cav. He hasn't really changed anything around. I guess in theory Raven could... Oh, Hyder not paying attention. The bombard cannons are getting sniped. Raven needs to rebuild his monastery and pick up those relics again. And it looks like that's what he's working on. Maybe Cavaliers would make a lot of sense for Raven. But now there's tons of Savars that Hyder has built up in response to these Arbalesters. And Savars are tearing through the economy. I don't think Raven is long for this game. We take a look at the villager count. Raven is down below 80 villagers now. Hyder up to 120. Raven built all these trebuchets with the hope of sieging Hyder, but his base is being overrun currently. And the trebuchets go down. Not able to use them. Yeah, and Raven calls the GG. Hyder pulls out a win, overpowers his opponent with the Persian gunpowder. Let's take a look at the statistics. Hyder with 419 kills, 201 deaths, so this is what won him the game right here. Raven could not get a good fight in against Hyder's army composition. Food collected, Hyder with more food and wood. Raven with more stone, significantly more stone. And Hyder with more gold. So Hyder with better castle and imperial age times, Raven with better feudal age times. More map explored for Raven, more research for Raven. Raven captured 3 relics. Well, he captured more than that, but he recaptured 3 relics. And, oh, actually, I'm sorry, he didn't recapture any. I'm looking at castles. Raven with 3 castles, Hyder with 2 castles. Hyder boomed up to 144 villagers. Raven with 2,600 relic gold. Alright, let us go to the replays now, and we'll watch the second game, which takes place on Team Glaciers. So Team Glaciers was made by Welcome to Rapture. He is a map maker. He's very heavily affiliated with the Clown Legion, True Clown Legion, the John Slow community. But he does take a break from that from time to time to help us out with maps. And he's helped us out with this one. And wow, this is really... I guess, I don't know, would you guys call this balanced? Seems like maybe they could benefit from a little bit larger base size on the map. It looks like it's... I guess it doesn't really matter because there's not very much there's not any fish on the map. Team Glaciers, what is it? Well, it's basically a rework of the original Glaciers by Ensemble Studios. Maintains a lot of the design changes, elevation over water in this case. We got rid of those ridiculous outposts. More fair forests. There are 2 versions of it. So there are, for this particular biome, we have crossings that can be walled off to prevent ships, and on the other version they cannot be. It's just shallows. So Hyder with a bigger land mass here. He's got a little bit more room to play with. I think Raven is going to have to be more aggressive. Raven playing as the red Portuguese, and Hyder playing as the purple Berbers. So what do you guys think about this Civ matchup? And you can go water. You can definitely make navy on this map. But if you do, well, you know, all it can do is deny land. It cannot actually defend resources. What the? What in the? What is this? Raven is laming Hyder, you guys. Wow, gloves off. Raven is not taking any chances here. He wants to deny Hyder some boar meat. Poor Hyder. Is Raven going to get away with it, though? Or did he have to idle his town center to achieve that? Can't really tell. Looks like he is a little bit of a villager behind. Hyder is currently behind now. So he's at least a little bit behind. But maybe not very much. Wait a second. Wait a second. Raven taking 1 boar here. Or sorry, Hyder. There's another boar here. Do you get 3 boars on this map and I just didn't know it? That would be embarrassing. You guys, here's a boar. Here's a boar. Just saw a boar come in. And here's no. Okay, so you do get 3 boars. So yes, he did lame Hyder, because Hyder only has 2 left over. We only counted 2. So Hyder's going to eat that up. He's going to have 1 more boar left over. You get 4? What? So 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Don't know. But the important thing is that Raven stole 1. Hyder didn't even realize that Raven stole 1. Just boars are everywhere. They're so plentiful. So how does this open up? Well, Berbers. Probably going to see scouts from Hyder again. He loves scouts. There's all kinds of crossings that you can take. Nobody's docked. It makes sense. They might dock late game to get an advantage. But early game, there's no fish to defend, so docking doesn't make any sense now. Hyder says, funny thing is, he went for laming in other sets we played, and for the whole set, I was thinking, huh, he's not laming me this time. Weird. Oh, he's laming you, Hyder. He is laming you. He likes to lame. And he likes to do a double boar lure. Look at that. He's on his way up to the feudal age now. So Portuguese, what do they do? Got to be careful though. This lady's going to get attacked by the boar. Uh-oh. Okay, he did manage to save her by garrisoning in the town center. She didn't die. And now Raven is going to push some deer in. He's building a barracks. So I think that with all of this food, Raven will do a scout rush. I could be mistaken. Raven's gold situation is actually not that great. This gold is kind of hard to defend. Let's take a look at Hyder's gold. Hyder's gold is a little bit better. You know, he could kind of wall this off and wall this off. So Raven Feudal Age, we're probably going to see a stable coming down. Yep, there it is. Now the Portuguese get some kind of weird bonus where if they take berries, they get wood at the same time. Not a lot of wood, but when the Portuguese harvest their berry bushes, they don't just throw the twigs on the ground. They take the entire bush and they bundle it together and they use it to build things. And that's how we know. So let's change over to Raven's point of view. I presume that Raven has scouted Hyder. Actually, he has not. He's going for it now. He's looking for Hyder's base. One of the fun things about this map is that it's sort of organic shaped. It's hard to predict where your opponent is. And that's something that we kind of lose, even in my own creations. You know, the spawning location of your opponent is somewhat predictable. So Raven scouts Hyder. Hyder is building his stable. Raven should try to deny that. Hyder does not see it. Raven could deny it because these haven't been started yet. What are you doing, Raven? Alright. Nope. So Raven was not quick enough to deny the stable, which is unfortunate for him. So Hyder's going to get the stable, and the villager is going to survive. That could have been a dead villager and a denied stable, but Raven wasn't paying attention. Hyder doesn't have as many spearmen out, which is unfortunate for him. I think he's just building them now. He just got to the feudal age now. The villagers, Hyder's sending the whole town to finish that wall. Does not want any more of Raven's scouts getting in. And Raven is going to disappear out here into the blackness. Hyder sends the spearmen that way. And Raven looking for a weak villager. Hyder has a weak villager on this gold. Raven doesn't see it. He's going to come over here to lame the farm. Successfully lames the farm. And he sees this weak villager here. Oh, looks like there's a scout that slipped in through the berries. And Raven killing a villager. Where's Hyder's pointy boys? Where are they? Hyder does not have his spearmen in the right place, unfortunately, for Hyder. And Raven's going to kill another villager with this scout rush. And another villager. Now, the good news for Hyder is that the scout rush is over. The scout is not very strong. I mean, he might be able to pick off a weak villager, so Hyder bringing it back to the town center. But for the most part, the damage is, the damage is done. But it was a lot of damage. It was 3 villagers. Yeah, so the scout just attacks the villager, and the villager just shanks it, kills it. That hurts if you're Hyder. And you can tell from the score. So Hyder not quite getting his walls up in time. And Raven needed that because Raven's map is terrible. Hyder's map is much better. So like Raven has to come outside of his walls to build this mining camp. So he definitely needed to play aggressively, and he did. I don't know, does Portuguese Scout Rush, does that really seem like the meta? I mean, Hyder went Berber Fast Castle into Knights. So now, Raven's on the back foot. Hyder has a technology advantage over Raven. Knights are a huge power spike, and they're cheaper for Berbers too. So these 3 Knights could completely wreck Raven. So he sees these Knights, yeah, and he's small walled this. I think actually this is this still open? I think it is. Well, we'll see what happens. We got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, these Knights are very powerful. If these Knights get in here, they'll do untold damage. They basically kill everything that can't garrison in the town center. Especially if Hyder gets armor upgrades for them, which he has not done so yet. I like how Raven locks this gate first before engaging in repairs. Now the question is, okay, yeah, Raven spots it, realizes that these Knights are out to get him, and rushes up to plug that hole. Builds another palisade behind it. Really needs stone walls at this point. He's walled this off and he's walled this off, so he's actually using the cliff. But this is a really awkward position to be walling from. I don't know how close Raven is. Actually, we can check. He's halfway to the castle age. His gold collection is not as efficient, but at least the knights aren't in yet. And Hyder, this is Hyder's moment. This is really his golden time as the Berbers, is right when you're hitting castle age. You're getting those knights out. They're cheaper for you. And you can really, really push that technology advantage here. And I mean, Raven is being forced to wall himself out of his own gold. He can barely take gold now. He's got one tile that he can reach. Maybe two, if you count the corner of this other tile. And now Hyder is just like, well, you know, I can't get in on the gold, so I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to attack this other wall and clear you out and come in and hit your wood line instead. Now, Raven has built 2 barracks, and he's probably going to go pikemen, 2 barracks pikemen. I would have built a monastery. Seems like monastery is more of the meta counter to these knights, especially considering that Alchemy League is standard victory condition. You want to be picking up those relics, but he's got a nice little pointy boy army here. I'm not sure why he didn't build a monk. Maybe Raven felt that Hyder would just mix some light cavs in, but if you're fully walled, the light cav are still not a threat to you. So this is probably related to his long-term goals somehow. Yeah, Hyder does not want to fight this. There's no reason to fight it. There's nothing gained from fighting it. It would be an expensive fight. So Hyder repositioning. I think he's going to look for an opportunity. Not sure what he's doing at home. It looks like he's added another town center. So he's on 2 town center, 2 stable, and he's trying to catch up. He's coming around here looking to see if anything has opened up since he last scouted it. Nothing really, though, so he's just going to take down this barracks. Raven is on his way with a bunch of pikemen. Were they going to get there in time to stop the barracks, though? I don't know. The barracks might be destroyed before these pikemen arrive. Hyder not able to destroy that barracks. But I don't think the barracks can be repaired. Maybe it can be. Maybe there's... Yeah, it looks like there's a tile here where a villager could repair it. He was so close, too. But we haven't seen Hyder repair the barracks yet. It's got 63... Or sorry, Raven hasn't repaired the barracks. It's got 63 HP. Instead, Raven has built an archery range, which I don't really fully understand. But you definitely want to come out here and snag these relics. They're always on these islands in the middle. And apparently there's one right here. Oh, I think it's that each player gets 1 on their landmass, and then, oops, and then there are 3 in the middle. You can ask Welcome to Rapture. He knows all about it. He is a relic specialist coming from an arena-loving community. Well, look at this Portuguese army right here. Look at these guys just standing here, getting ready to move out across the map. Okay, it looks like Raven is planning some kind of offensive. He's got pikemen. He's got crossbowmen. So all Hyder needs to do is make skirmisher to counter both. Hyder is taking stone. This could mean that he wants a castle at some point. Makes sense. Berber camel archers are an excellent answer to pikemen. But it looks like Raven really just wants to secure the relics for now. Oh, I see. Hyder running back here, that's a mistake. He could potentially get trapped. Is this chopped through, though? No, it is not. Now this army is going to come here and trap him in. Oh, nope, they're not, because Hyder deleted some palisades here. So lucky for Hyder, or sorry, lucky for, yeah, Raven deleted the palisades. Lucky for Hyder, he had a way out. Raven going to micro the crossbowmen. These knights do not have any armor upgrades, so therefore they will get eaten pretty decisively. These crossbows have both range upgrades. Raven adding another town center on this stone. And, oh, alright, let's go. So Hyder has built a siege workshop with some scorpions. He's making some scorpions and he's planning an offensive. Well, this is exciting to see. He's got some knights. So knights plus scorpions are not bad against pikemen. The scorpions really help to weaken the pikemen and help the knights to win the fights before the pikemen can do much damage. So Raven sees this and he's building, what is this, a monastery? No, he's building another archery range for some reason. I think that Hyder needs to build a monastery to heal his knights. Sending the scorpions forward. Oh, I see. Raven is scout rushing Hyder's gold mine down here. Oh! A castle drop. Now this is fun. This is fun because what are Raven's options for gold, right? I mean, this is his main gold. He's got another gold out here, but it's outside of his base. I think Raven has scouted that gold. I think he knows, obviously, that it's there. Yeah, he does know about it. So it's not going to cut off all of his known gold supply, but it is going to be a big bruiser for him. He's going to have to relocate, and it'll be even harder to defend his gold out here. Hyder says, look at my base. Oh, no! Raven got in. So Hyder is on the offensive. Raven is on the offensive. Are they going to trade bases? Yeah, it looks like they chiseled their way through here. Or maybe through here. Not sure how they got in. I do know that this is very annoying. Let's count villagers. Hyder with 58, Raven to 65 villagers. And this gold mine is shut down. So now Raven deletes these and sets the gather point out here. So this is going to be where he takes gold now. These knights are looking to get in. There's scorpions backing them. And it looks like we kind of have a base trade going on. Question is, whose army is more dangerous? Well, Hyder's army has siege weapons. And knights, which can chase down villagers. Raven's army does not. Raven is expanding out in this direction. Yeah, I don't know. I think Raven building a slow army should have tried to wall off these crossings. I believe that you can wall off these crossings and really restrict. And there's no good reason in this case. You could build stone walls across this, stone wall across this, stone gate right here, and you're done. You know, you don't have to deal with all of this stuff because knights and scorpions cannot get through stone walls. At least not easily. So now Hyder is taking Raven's gold. Raven building a defensive castle to protect his starting town center and some farms. And Raven forced down a tower here. He's got to step back. Got knights here trying to deny the castle. They are going to do a little bit of damage. Everybody is doing the attack ground now between buildings. Look at this. Hyder attack ground between the archery range and between the house so that he damages both buildings at the same time. Takes down the archery range. Portuguese castle here. Where are the piano cannons? Maybe we'll see them eventually. Raven has set up some sprawling farms here. Come on, guys. Build stone walls. It's not that expensive. The cost of stone walls is small compared to the cost of villagers. Would you rather invest a little bit of stone to keep your economy alive, or I don't? It seems like a no-brainer to me. And this is a really good map for Portuguese too. I think, you know, you can stonewall everything off, force the fight to be a slog through the center, build all your bombard towers, your bombard cannons, your halberdiers, build your Feitoreas in the back, and just like pump through all of your bonus resources and force your opponent to take all of the resources on their side. Raven is getting this gold though, which is good for him. Hyder has not seemed to roll forward and attack this gold. Maybe Hyder doesn't know about that gold. Let's see if Hyder knows about the gold. He doesn't. Alright, so that's why. So, if Hyder knew about this gold, these siege weapons would 100% be right here. And they would be denying all of this. But luckily for Raven, Hyder does not know about it. He didn't scout it. He didn't scout it. See, this is the importance of scouting, you guys. I don't mean to harp on it, because we all know. A lot of it's luck, too, right? He just doesn't know about the gold. Maybe he's about to learn. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Yes. So Hyder discovers this gold, and so this gold not safe anymore. So Raven is now in big trouble, since Hyder discovered this gold. Hyder hasn't reacted to it yet, but once he realizes that he discovered his opponent's gold, he will 100% send stuff here to shut it down. Right now he's busy fighting this. And there is no other gold on the map for Raven to take, except maybe this gold right here. The neutral islands in the middle have large bonus golds and stones. So I would like to see Raven potentially build another castle right here to secure this gold for himself. Because this gold isn't safe. Wait, Hyder, what are you doing? Hyder, you gotta go this way. Raven's stuff is over here. I guess he's built a bunch of rams and he wants to make sure that he supports them. Raven charging the camel archers with some pikes. Or sending a few at least, and Hyder has to micro it back to minimize the damage. Big battle, really. Raven somehow with a score lead, which I don't really understand. I guess it's just because he's got more villagers. And he's in the Imperial Age. Despite all of this pressure, which is really good. But why isn't Hyder sending his... You know, send your 4 camel archers over here and shut down this gold mine. It would cost him nothing. Raven has nothing to defend this over here. Alright, wait. Is this it? Is this it? Okay, it is it, with a caveat. And that caveat is that the camel archers are pathing... Okay, alright, guess this is open. That's alright. They still should be coming up through here, unless he wanted to cut off the escape route to the town center. But this is exactly what Hyder needs right here. Raven has a big leg up. He's got more villagers. He's in the Imperial Age, but now he's out of gold. Hyder just came in here and just killed like 10 villagers. Maybe not quite 10, but a lot. At least 5. 5 or 6, at least. So, now Raven's villager lead is quite small. Raven building this castle that I recommended. He did find it. Hyder says, yeah, it was dumb of me to ignore that gold so long. Well, there was a lot going on. It's easy from a caster's point of view to be like, hey, you should be doing this. When you're microing camel archers and sending in ram pushes and that sort of thing. Raven is building this castle. He's going to secure this gold. With this gold, it won't matter whether or not Hyder camps this over here, because Raven will have a second source of supply. And being in Castle Age, or being in Imperial Age, allows Raven to make trebuchets. Hyder is almost up to Imperial Age himself, though, and he is repairing this castle. So he might be able to get some trebuchets out of his own. The big challenge is, what do Berbers do against siege ram and halberdier? And Portuguese get both. As far as I recall, I believe Portuguese get siege rams. Let's check. Berbers really struggle against the ram pike push. Let's see. They don't. They get capped rams. Capped rams are still quite good, though. You could sprinkle some bombard cannons in there, too, and it would... You know, it's the same idea. It's just a Portuguese version of it. Yeah, so Raven is now in the lead. He's secured a place to take gold. And he's also castling this other island here. So if you're Hyder, maybe you start to think about ships now. Maybe you could build some... maybe some galleons or something like that. Some war galleys and just kind of camp here and annoy these gold miners. It's hard to answer all of these castles on all these neutral islands in the center. Hyder, I mean, he does have access to gold himself. He's got a sprawling eco back here. 80 villagers to Raven's 97. I think this 97 incorporates a Feitoria, though. Let's see if Raven's built any. It doesn't look like it. No Feitorias for Raven. Feitoria is less efficient than villagers in general, the same number of villagers. So they take up 20 population space. And you could gather more resources if you had 20 villagers working on things. But where the Feitorias come in handy is if you're like always selling all of your wood or all of your food to get gold, and it's being converted at the market conversion rate, then you multiply that conversion rate by the villager population that your Feitoria takes up, and then all of a sudden it really does become worthwhile. So they're not really worthwhile as long as you have access to take all the resources that you need, or you can trade for good trades all the resources that you need. But when in late game situations where that is no longer the case, they're awesome. The other advantage about Feitoria is that they're just harder to raid. You know, it's just a building. You don't have to really defend them. They have a bunch of health. Take up just some space in the back. That's it. 5x5 tile. Hyder actually managed to fight off that trebuchet, which is impressive. I'm not really sure how Hyder could win a trebuchet war. He's up against 2 castles. Maybe Raven is just not thinking like that. Maybe Raven just wants to be like, you know, I'm just going to go bombard cannons. That's what I need. And he is researching chemistry right now, as he should be, because he's Portuguese. So Raven might just be like, you know, I'll just get bombard cannons. That's what I want. I don't really care if this castle goes down too much. I'm making cannons. So Raven has some Portuguese light cav. They're very poorly armored, though. But they might be able to slip in through here and do some damage. He arrives at this mining camp, but Hyder isn't here. Nobody's taken relics, as far as I can tell. Yeah, this relic is unclaimed. This relic is unclaimed. Oh, guys. Guys. Could you imagine if Hyder had 4 relics right now? He could actually be ahead. You know, he could be punishing Raven. This is a huge stone drain right here. 3 trebuchets on a castle. Yeah, Raven has to rebuild another castle back here. And it looks like chemistry has come in for Raven, but I don't see where he's making any bombard cannons. Bombard cannons would be a good choice. And the arbalisters are good against the camel archers. So, if you're Hyder, maybe you plan some kind of sneaky cavalier. You mass up some cavaliers or something like that, and you swoop in over this ice bridge and get a surround on these arbalisters or something. But I really don't think Raven should just let these trebuchets do whatever they want. The good news for Raven is that he can reach the trebuchets more easily from their attack position on this castle. So he needs to get like right here, and he needs to shoot the trebuchets and stop them. cannot let these trebuchets just destroy all of his castles in the middle. Looks like no ballistics for Raven. He is building a bombard cannon. And yeah, this is what he needs to do. He needs to stop Hyder from doing this. This is a lot of free stone for Hyder right here, essentially destroying parts of his opponent's castle. Because Raven needs this gold. He doesn't have other gold. He can't take this gold in peace. I'm actually surprised Hyder has let this... I mean, Hyder needs to send his trebuchet back here and just... Think about the villager kills. There's... How many villagers are back here? There's 36 villagers for Raven back here. And they're trapped. So Hyder could send these trebuchets over here, destroy this town center, and then run all of his camel archers back here and just kill everything. And close out the game. Or at least put Raven in a very ugly position. Raven... So basically here's what Raven would have to do if Hyder attempted that. Delete this, or don't delete it. Pick everybody up and literally walk them across the map over to someplace safe over here. So Hyder's got these camel archers parked in the perfect location to do some serious damage. The good news for Raven is that he's overboomed anyway, so he may not care about these people. They may be expendable to him. Oh, he's going to try to save them. He wants to build a castle here and be annoying in the corner. That is an interesting play. I would have jumped off this sinking ship, but it's like Raven has just gotten all of the pumps online, and he's trying to keep his activity in this area. So the castle goes up, and the trebuchets roll forward. Camel archers are heading this way. I really think that Raven should try to escape here with these villagers. Or, you know, get sappers or something and try to make a charge at some buildings. Alright, so bombard cannons and arbalisters pounding Hyder's castle. Hyder is getting some cavalry armor. It's the feudal age armor upgrade, looks like. So, nothing too compelling yet. He needs to get up to the imperial age. Oh, this is a good find for Hyder. Raven not paying attention and losing his bombard cannons. But Hyder also lost some camel archers too, but overall Raven definitely lost more. Raven needs to keep these archers nice and close to his siege weapons so that Hyder cannot come in and snipe them. Camel archers, as you guys may already know, they have one more base attack than traditional cavalry archers, I believe. Let's select them. Yeah, they got 7 base attack. The base attack for arbalisters is 6. Base attack for crossbowmen is 5. And the base attack for cavalry archers is 6. So they're a little bit more potent. And elite camel archers deal 8. So I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have siege weapons and such that that have like 5 or 6 pierce armor or something like that, Hyder taking a terrible fight here. I guess he's deciding he's not interested in camel archers anymore. But when you have siege weapons like bombard cannons that have 5 pierce armor, I mean, going from 6 to 8 is significant. It's a lot. Hyder I think is falling behind in score. Raven is pulling ahead. Luckily for Hyder, he did manage to destroy this castle and kill all of the villagers. So none of those villagers escaped. But Hyder's definitely on the defensive here. He's got his little forward going on, and he's got a hussar raid in the back of Raven's base. So this is annoying for Raven to deal with. Again, I don't understand why these players can't stonewall off the ice bridges. I just don't get it. They'll spend 1,000 stone repairing a castle, but they won't put down 50 stone, you know, to just block these bridges off, to be able to better choose the terms of engagement. But Hyder kind of running out of options here. He's got mobility, But mobility is not really that important on this map, and Raven's raiding him a little bit. Mobility not so important, right? You know the enemy's going to be coming at you and fighting over just a few places. A Raven building a castle here to defend his farming economy, which is smart. I like this castle. It's a good choice. Keep about 15 farms, probably. Safe-er. No monastery either. Ugh. No monastery. Oh no. Hyder headed back this way with his camel archers. He's going to get trapped. That would actually be kind of funny if Raven like stonewalled these camel archers in here. He's got an army of arbalisters chasing these camel archers on foot. Because you see, even though the camel archers deal more base damage than the arbalisters have longer range. They've got longer range, and they fire faster. So they're an effective counter. But Raven deciding, alright, I guess he is going to come back. He is going to go back and he's going to finish these camel archers off if he can. Nope. What is he doing? Is he just patrolling? I don't know. Raven coming across for some raids. He sent some halbs now to deal with the Hussar. I'd love to see a forward siege workshop and like 20 halbs, just like right here. I don't think it's too much to ask, right? Is Hyder out of gold? Can't take this anymore. Raven has secured the islands. And these arbalisters deciding to come home, and Hyder deciding, oh, alright, well, he's no longer chasing me. I'm going to send my camel archers out to do some raiding. Maybe camp this gold out here. So he was going to continue to be able to milk them for more damage. That's 2 relics here. Maybe they get 2 relics on each side. That's how it looks. 2 relics on each side, 3 relics in the middle. 7 relics total. More damage. Raven expanding to take this gold. The camel archers killing some villagers. So that's the cost of not dealing with this. We knew that they were going there too, but he just wants to rush up this town center. I don't think it's going to go, though. I think Hyder is going to deny it, which is a good win for him, considering that he is behind. Raven dropping below 100 villagers, but he has a massive military. He's got 80 military. Yeah, and all those villagers go down. Raven has gone into Cavaliers to deal with these Genitor. He's got a big Arbalister mass here. A lot of people really like Genitors. I personally think they're a bad unit. There's nothing that they do better than the Skirmishers that they're intended to replace, except for one thing, and that one thing is they're faster. So if you need Skirmishers to keep up with your Camel Archers or Cavalry Archers, then they're a great choice. But in a situation like this, where you're fighting in the same place, the front of your base, I don't understand it. So Raven really wants to push this offensive here. I guess he finally did send some stuff over here and killed most of these Camel Archers. Hyder only has 1 left, and actually this 1 Camel Archer could stop this town center. But Hyder is distracted. He's too busy worrying about this, and rightfully so. This is a much bigger deal. He's got Trebuchets, he's got Cavaliers, he's got Arbalisters, he's got Halberdiers. Basically, Raven is making everything as the Portuguese. And the Portuguese have a gold discount on everything, so it makes sense. I think we will see a GG from Hyder pretty soon. He's out of gold, somewhat trapped on his home landmass. Raven with a an offensive castle on this hill to continue to pressure Hyder. Continue to restrict him, and yeah, Hyder calling the GG. He knows he's out. He's out of stuff. So what happened? Why was Raven able to pull ahead? I think that Hyder's push was really good, but he just didn't quite nail down Raven's gold supply quick enough or early enough. He didn't zone out this gold from Raven, even when he had the map controlled to do so. Nor did he zone out this gold either. Otherwise, I think it was a pretty well-balanced set. The other thing, too, is that Hyder is working with a pretty massive Civ disadvantage, in my opinion. I don't see the appeal of Berbers on this map when you can limit your fighting to, like, different choke points. I mean, granted, Raven did not really capitalize on stone walls and, like, zoning off the map the way that he could have, but he still did make it about, like, defending specific key points of interest. Oh, Hyder's saying not stonewalling as well. So Hyder's also adding to that, and he's saying, yeah, I should have stonewalled to prevent my opponent from raiding me and distracting from my offensives. Lilo Losa says, GG guys. It was a good fight. It was a good game. These guys are good players. They're playing on unique maps. And in my opinion, it produces some of the best quality content in all of Age of Empires. I would rather have a very closely matched set against two guys that are in their 1700s on a unique map than watch two guys that are top 50 play on a less unique map. But that's just my personal preference, as I'm a little bit of a map whore. I'm sorry, you guys. I just love maps. I love different maps. I love it when people try different things and provide unique twists on classics. It's good stuff. You know, the maps are the celebrity that I kneel down in front of. I'm not looking to win over a person. I'm looking to win over a beautiful map. Oh, you mean stonewall him in? That would have been even more devious. Build a stone wall here. Yeah, he did kind of creep out and take exactly the resources he needed exactly when he needed them. Berbers were an experiment. He's still tinkering with FC on the map. No way. Crazy Joe. Say it isn't so. Welcome, Crazy Joe. These guys. I don't know what it is with these guys. They're like, I don't know if they had a gentleman's agreement before the set started. Oh yeah, bro, you know, I'm just not going to pick up any relics this time. Maybe they were both like, nah, I can't go relic victory against this guy. He's too good. I don't dare. I'm just going to throw everything I have into trying to throttle him. I don't know what it was, but these guys they were not interested in the relics for this set. Let's take a look at the achievements. Very, very even KD here. Raven with more buildings destroyed and a larger army. Twice the size. Thanks, Crazy Joe. Yeah, there will be more sets from Alchemy League. Crazy Joe, if you are not already following Hyder on Twitch, you should definitely do so, because he casts Alchemy League as well. Let me bring up Hyder's Twitch right now, and I'll post it into the chat for all the folks that have found me on YouTube but are not part of the Discord. And we will share that so you can follow him if you are not already. It's spelled differently. But yes, the player that you saw who just played the Berbers streams sets of our league on Twitch. You should definitely follow him. And he does castings too. He's not just streaming his point of view. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so economy, food and wood, stone, all better for Raven, with Hyder just collecting more gold. Technology, Raven first to feudal, Hyder first to castle, Raven first to Imperial Age. Raven with way more castles and more villagers. But GG, well played, guys. The other thing I wanted to point out for Crazy Joe is, hey, Crazy Joe, I sent you the link. There's a link in chat just for you. So that should contain the spelling. We're going to go back to the home page real quick here. And I just want to share the community website again. And this is in the description as well. But I'm going to share the page for this season of League. So if you go there, you can come over and you can click on, I'm going to close these extra tabs down, but you click on live scoreboard here for Sprint 1, and that will take you up to the live scoreboard. You know, as the sets come in, we record the scores and any admin penalties if we have to associated with the set. Somebody couldn't play or they didn't play the map of the round. But as Hyder and I complete the sets, we put links in. So basically from this scoreboard, you can, if you are interested in a particular set, you know, let's say that you are, let's say that you are Neoz, and you're playing against Wizanatic in round 2, and you're curious about how Wizanatic plays, you know, and you see that there's a set here where Wizanatic played against Ice-T, and if one of us has casted it as an example, you could click on that link and you could watch those two players and see how they do things. So I'm going to add my links into this from this set that I just casted. And the deal is, the contract requires that each of us casts at least 6 sets per sprint. So you'll see 12 sets among more than 12. Sadly, we can't cast them all. But we will fill up this live scoreboard here. So yeah, so Crazy Joe, if you're looking for more Alchemy League sets, this is a good place to go. This live scoreboard, which you can find through the season page. It's just right here. Clicking here. So if you're not on the Discord. So thank you guys so much for joining, as always. It's a lot of fun. I had a great crowd for this cast, and it's very encouraging when you guys show up and ask questions, offer your thoughts. So I really, really appreciate you guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.